Had picked up another wash plant. He wanted to run 2 plants, 2 crews. He gave us a choice. We could either work with him or work with Dave.
Season 15 of Gold Rush wasn't just another run through the mud and frost of the Yukon. It was a season built on ambition, pressure, and a goal that pushed even the most seasoned crew members to their breaking points. The target was massive, 10,000 ounces of gold. It sounded exciting on paper, a number that could secure years of profit and cement Parker Schnabel's reputation as one of the most successful miners of his generation. But to hit that goal, he tried something that had never been done before on his claim, running not 1, not 2, but 3 wash plants at the same time. The logic made sense in theory. More plants should mean more pay dirt processed and more gold recovered. But the reality was far harsher. The Yukon isn't a factory floor where systems run in perfect sync. It's a living battlefield of frozen mud, unpredictable weather, and machinery that can turn temperamental with the slightest mistake. Keeping 3 massive plants operating simultaneously was like juggling chainsaws on ice. And in the middle of that storm stood one man whose quiet dedication had kept Parker's empire running smoothly for years. Chris Doumit. He had been the backbone of the Gold Room since Parker's early days, the one responsible for making sure every fleck of gold that came off the sluice boxes was captured, cleaned, and counted. This season, the pressure on him was beyond anything he'd faced before. With 3 nonstop operations feeding into one gold room, the work became relentless. Cleanups that used to take hours now took days, and there was never enough time to rest or recover before the next batch arrived. Every pan, every riffle, and every cleanup had to be perfect, because any mistake meant lost ounces, and with the goal set so high, every ounce mattered. The physical toll was obvious, but the mental strain was even heavier. Years of steady performance couldn't prepare anyone for this level of intensity. Eventually, the weight became too much, and the Gold Room, the final, most critical stage of the operation, was pushed right to its breaking point. When Parker announced his goal of 10,000 ounces, most of his crew thought it was impossible. They knew his drive, his confidence, and his history of breaking records. But even for Parker, this was extreme. To reach that goal, he decided to run Big Red, Rock Sluice, and Bob's plant all at once. A triple operation unlike anything attempted before in the show's history. On paper, it sounded simple. 3 plants working full-time meant triple the pay dirt and potentially triple the gold. But every miner knows the truth. In gold mining, more isn't always better. Each plant isn't just a machine. It's a living system with its own rhythm, quirks, and problems. Keeping one plant running smoothly takes precision and experience. 2 plants demand perfect coordination. But 3 plants? That's a logistical nightmare. Each plant needed operators, mechanics, and supplies. Each one produced its own concentrates, mats, and cleanup material that had to be processed carefully in the gold room. The Gold Room, which had always been the heartbeat of Parker's operation, now became the bottleneck that could make or break the entire season. Chris Doumitt, the man behind that final process, was suddenly responsible for keeping up with a workload no single person could sustain. His job wasn't just to clean gold, it was to safeguard the company's profits. Every mistake, every rushed cleanup, every ounce of concentrate left behind meant potential losses worth thousands of dollars. The triple plant plan looked efficient on spreadsheets, but felt brutal in practice. Equipment broke more often, delays piled up, and exhaustion spread through the crew. Even small problems multiplied fast. A missed mat here, a clogged screen there. Each error rippled through the process like a chain reaction. As the season wore on, the dream of 10,000 ounces started to look less like a target and more like a trap. The higher the number climbed, the more pressure it put on everyone involved, especially in the Gold Room, where the success of the entire operation depended on one man's endurance and precision. It was only a matter of time before that pressure boiled over. The Gold Room is where all the effort, sweat, and diesel finally pay off or fall apart. It's the last and most important stage in mining. Every flake of gold that passes through those sluices ends up here, waiting to be cleaned, weighed, and recorded. For years, Chris Doumit made that process look easy. His calm, methodical nature and decades of experience turned the chaos of mining into clean, consistent results. But this season was different. Running 3 plants meant the amount of material flowing into the gold room had tripled. The workload grew faster than anyone could handle. Chris worked longer hours, sometimes late into the night, trying to keep up with the relentless demand. The room, that once felt like a controlled environment, became a pressure cooker. There were more concentrates than buckets to hold them, more mats to rinse than people to do it, and more mistakes waiting to happen. Every cleanup demanded full attention, but there simply wasn't enough time in the day to do each one perfectly. For someone like Chris, who prided himself on precision, that was torture. The job that had always brought him pride started to feel like a losing battle. It wasn't just physical exhaustion, it was mental fatigue. When a person who never complains finally speaks up, it means the situation has gone far beyond difficult. Chris knew the risk of pushing further. The quality of cleanups would fall, gold losses would rise, and the season's dream total would collapse. After years of running on pure grit, he reached his limit and said what no one expected: the job couldn't be done. 2 plants could be managed with care. 3 were impossible. That decision stunned the crew, but it also saved them from complete burnout. In gold mining, honesty can be the hardest thing to deliver, and this was honesty at its rawest. The gold room couldn't take another shortcut. It needed help, or the season was finished. Parker's crew faced a tough choice. Pulling someone from the field to help in the gold room would slow down digging, but doing nothing would mean risking the entire operation. The solution came in the form of Tatiana Costa, one of the team's most capable rock truck operators. She was reliable, sharp, and strong under pressure, the kind of worker who learns fast and never backs down. It wasn't an easy decision to move her. The pit needed her, but the gold room needed her more. The idea was simple: train Tatiana to handle cleanup duties alongside Chris, splitting the massive workload that was crushing him. Training someone new in the gold room isn't easy, especially mid-season. It's not about muscle, it's about rhythm, attention to detail, and patience. Every part of the process matters: the bowl angle, the water flow, the order of cleaning mats, and the proper handling of concentrates. A single wrong move can send gold spilling back into the waste, but Tatiana proved herself quickly. Under Chris's guidance, she learned to read the flow, to feel when the machine was right, and to catch small mistakes before they grew. Her steady hand gave the veteran room to breathe again, to slow down enough to recover the precision that made the operation successful in the first place. The rest of the crew adjusted, stretching shifts and covering her absence in the field, but the difference was worth it. The gold room stabilized, cleanups became more consistent, the numbers improved. It was proof that teamwork could solve even the toughest problems. Still, the question lingered: was this fix enough, or had it come too late? The Yukon doesn't offer second chances. The season would decide if this pivot was a rescue, or just a delay before the inevitable fall short of the goal. To understand why Chris Doumit's breaking point hit so hard, it helps to understand the man himself. He didn't come from a mining family. He started as a carpenter, building cabins for the original Hoffman crew. He wasn't looking for gold. He was building shelters for others to chase it. But the Klondike has a strange pull. One job led to another, and soon he found himself knee-deep in the same mud he used to build over. Turns out he had a natural instinct for it. What began as carpentry turned into a mastery of mechanics and recovery science. When he eventually joined Parker Schnabel's young crew in the early seasons, everything clicked. Parker needed someone dependable, someone who could bring stability to a crew often overwhelmed by the grind. Chris became that person, the steady hand, the quiet mentor, the craftsman who turned chaos into clean gold. Year after year, his precision made the difference between good totals and record-breaking ones. His calm energy kept tempers from flaring when equipment broke or deadlines loomed. Parker trusted him completely, not just as a worker, but as a man who could hold the team together. That's why his exhaustion in season 15 felt so symbolic. It wasn't just one person getting tired, it was the heart of the system showing cracks. The gold room isn't just a job, it's the safeguard of millions of dollars in potential profit. Without Chris's steady control, the entire operation could unravel. His decision to speak up was a moment of clarity in a season running on adrenaline. It forced Parker to stop, to listen, and to recognize that even the toughest worker has limits. The best systems don't ignore those limits. They adjust to protect the people who make success possible. Parker Schnabel has always been driven by ambition. Growing up in a mining family, he learned early that the ground gives nothing for free. He took over the Big Nugget mine as a teenager, managing people twice his age, and proved through hard work and smart decisions that he could lead. His early success built the foundation for the empire he runs today. But with success comes pressure. The pressure to do more, to go bigger, to never settle. Each season, Parker raises the bar higher, setting goals that sound impossible and somehow finding ways to reach them. It's what made him famous, but it's also what makes his operation risky. Running 3 plants at once was his biggest gamble yet. It wasn't just about gold, it was about legacy. 10,000 ounces wasn't a goal, it was a statement. But even Parker knows that ambition without balance can turn dangerous. The human side of the business is what keeps the machines running. People break before engines do. The lesson of season 15 isn't about dirt or ounces, it's about the invisible cost of control. Parker built his reputation on precision and discipline, but even he couldn't outrun the limits of time, energy, and manpower. The gold room crisis forced him to face that reality. Machines can be repaired with parts and money, but when key people burn out, recovery takes far longer. The decision to train Tatiana, to support Chris, and to slow the chaos wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a sign of growth. Parker learned that leading isn't just about pushing harder. It's about knowing when to protect the people who make everything possible. This season's challenges may have tested his leadership more than any before, but they also reshaped his understanding of what it takes to sustain success. Every action in season 15 rippled through the entire operation. The triple plant setup consumed more fuel, time, and labor than anyone expected. Each breakdown cost thousands. Each delay burned valuable days in an already short mining window. And in the middle of it all, the crew's morale rose and fell with the gold room's pace. When cleanups ran smoothly, hope soared. When they lagged, tension returned. The numbers told the story better than words ever could. Every ounce recovered was a win. Every lost flake a sting. The pivot with Tatiana gave the operation stability, but no one could predict if it was enough to hit that legendary goal. The Yukon doesn't forgive missed timing. As the cold crept in and the season neared its end, the crew worked like a machine, each person aware that one small mistake could decide the outcome. Beyond the immediate totals, this season will be remembered as a turning point. It exposed the limits of even the strongest team and reminded everyone that success depends not on how much ground is moved, but on how much gold is saved. For Parker, it was a lesson in scale. Growth only works when every layer of the system grows with it. The gold room needed backup. The team needed rest. The process needed balance. Going forward, that balance will define whether Parker's empire keeps climbing or starts to crack. If season 15 ends strong, it will prove that adaptability can save even the most overextended plan. If it ends short, it will stand as a hard-earned warning for seasons to come. Either way, it changed everything. By the end of the season, one thing became crystal clear. No amount of machinery or ambition can replace human skill and endurance. The gold room, the quiet, steady heart of the entire operation, reminded everyone what really determines success. When the pressure hit its peak, Chris Doumitt didn't crumble. He set a line. He refused to sacrifice quality for speed. That decision protected the operation more than any new piece of equipment could. The move to bring in Tatiana turned out to be the exact adjustment needed to keep things under control. The season still carried scars, long nights, missed hours of sleep, constant stress. But it also carried lessons that would shape every future goal. The team learned that 3 plants can only work if every part of the system, especially the gold room, scales with it. They learned that ambition must respect limits and that taking care of people is the only way to protect progress. Parker's 10,000-ounce dream may have stretched the crew to their limits, but it also revealed their strength. They adapted, supported each other, and found ways to keep going when the odds seemed impossible. In the end, that resilience became the real treasure. The Yukon has a way of teaching hard lessons, and this one came with a price, but also with growth. The gold room will recover, the crew will rebuild, and the next season will start with a wiser plan and a stronger foundation. One season doesn't define a career, but how a crew handles its hardest moments defines everything. This was that moment. The line drawn in the gold room didn't just save a season, it saved the standard that built the empire. For those who want to follow every turn, every weigh-in, and every story that shapes the future of this crew, subscribe to Gold Era 2.0, where each new video breaks down the truth behind the gold, the wins, the risks, and the human stories that keep the dream alive.